Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. I am Mondo here today with only Holmes. Gary's still sick. He sent us a text. We were getting ready to record. He said, "Listen, I just pulled into Publix and puked everywhere, so I don't think I'm gonna make it on the episode." So we're Gary-less again, I guess. But
That's
you
okay,
know,
Gary.
we hope he feels better. That shit sucks. I know I went through it last week, so not only right that we pass it on to the next co-host, but. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We won't have an episode on Friday just because, it's holiday time with the family. We really don't want to put extra pressure on everyone. So, Holmes and I are going to go through college football preview today, hitting on all the major games in the rivalry weekend. And we're also going to hit on the entire NFL slate today. We won't have
Oh
any
yeah.
cards ready. Those will be tweeted out later on, but we just figure we'll go through, evaluate what we think and just kind of go from there. So, Holmes, how you doing today? How you been?
Man, finally home for the holiday weekend, so I'm excited for that. Great weekend for sports too, dude. We're gonna have a great time watching a ton of football all weekend. So let's
Yeah,
get
we
into it. We got a
got
lot of good matchups.
5 straight days of football. We got Thanksgiving games tomorrow, Dolphins, Jets Friday, rivalry weekend Saturday, NFL slate Sunday, and of course, wrapping it up with Monday Night Football. So the boys are happy. We're ready to go. And we're probably going to have picks for every single day. So just get ready. Hop on the Twitter at Unbettable. Follow all of our picks. We're going to be on top of it. Don't you worry.
Hell
So,
yeah.
Holmes, I'll let you kick it off. Obviously, the biggest part of this weekend is definitely rivalry weekend. I know you got a bunch of games you want to talk through. So go ahead and hit it.
Yeah, man. So similar to what we do every week for the NFL, we'll just kind of go through the biggest games of the week. We'll touch on most of the ranked matchups we got. But ton of good stuff to evaluate for rivalry week. So let me get it pulled up right here. All right. First game we got to start with number 13, Ole Miss going to Mississippi State tomorrow at 7:30 for the Egg Bowl. Um, Ole Miss is minus 9.5 right now for minus 120. I don't know about you, but I am probably going to end up taking Ole Miss in the points here. Even though they're away, their offense has just been so good. And I haven't watched a ton of Mississippi State this year. I will admit it, obviously. But from what I have seen, they've not been that great. I know they fired their coach earlier this year. And typically, I don't really want to bet against teams that have fired their coach because we've seen it with the Raiders. We even saw it a little bit with Texas A&M last week, even though they're against a really bad team. But sometimes the locker room gets galvanized by that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
it'll be interesting about whether I actually want to take a play on this game, but I might take the points 9.5. That what I'd be leaning to for Ole Miss. Over under is at 54.5. Anything for you on this game?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really have to watch much of them this year. All you need to know is they were quite literally the worst team in the SEC this year. And that's all you really need to know heading into this game. They have no real head coach, they have no star players. Like Ole Miss is going to come in, they're going to dominate. So I'm going to take the spread here. But I am a little worried about the over under. I'm going to wait until this weekend, or well, I guess till tomorrow morning, and just kind of evaluate from there if I want to place a bet on it. I probably won't, just given all the NFL games tomorrow, but you never know. We'll see when we get there. But Ole Miss is going to take this one easily.
Fair. I like that. Moving on to Friday at noon, number 16, Iowa at Nebraska. Nebraska is minus 2.5 favorites at home. This is a spot where you have to take Nebraska in the points. We've talked about this
This is the trap
week
line.
over week. This is the trap line when you have an unranked team at home against a ranked team coming in, but the unranked team at home is favored in this matchup. I mean, it's one of those things where you are getting begged by the books to take Iowa because they have that 16 in front of their name. So I am definitely going to be on Nebraska here. That is definitely going to be a lock it in play for me. Because again, we've seen this trap spot before. More than likely, if we try to go on this, I think Nebraska is going to end up coming out on the right side here. So Nebraska, the 2.5, I might just end up taking the money line for minus 135 and just try to get a win
Mhm.
from Nebraska there at home.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Nebraska, it's just based on strength of schedule. It's why they're unranked. They play some of the best teams in the nation. And, Iowa, they don't score a lot of points, so it just makes sense. Nebraska at home. You should capitalize on this trap line. I know the books are begging you to go the other way, but trust us when we tell you this is one of those lines that we look into and we're like, we need to take it. So
Yeah, just looks
definitely
too
Nebraska.
stinky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, also at noon, TCU at number 14, Oklahoma. Oklahoma 9.5 point favorites at home, over under at 62.5. I don't really have a big feeler on this game. If I were to take anything, might be rolling with Oklahoma in the points here. TCU's just been a big disappointment, obviously, coming off of that incredible CFP run last year. They have not been that same team
Mhm.
this year. Lost a lot of guys to the draft, to the transfer portal. So it has not been the greatest year for Sonny Dykes and the TCU gang this year. Oklahoma, on the other hand, man, they've looked really nice. They've lost a couple games a few weeks ago, back to back, and looked like they were in a little bit of a slide, but have come back pretty strong since then. So yeah, if I were to lean anything right here, probably Oklahoma and the 9.5. But anything for you on this?
Yeah, no, probably won't have a bet for this game. Not really too interested in it. TCU is just quite the one-hit wonder. Just
Mm,
absolute fall from grace compared to last year. But
yeah,
dude, honestly, it is what it is. Oklahoma's a great team. Like if you were just doing a pick 'em, obviously you should go with Oklahoma. So other than that, really
yeah,
don't have much for this game. It's just there's so many better games to be watching this weekend.
true. Yeah. Another ranked matchup. We got a few more Friday games. This is awesome how many ranked matchups are on Friday.
Hmm.
Number 9, Missouri is going to Arkansas. Missouri favored by 8.5, over under at 55.5. As close as Florida made it last week with Missouri. Something about this game is tempting me to take Missouri in the points. I don't believe in Arkansas at all. They have literally nothing to play for right now. Realistically, the only thing you could be saying is that they are actually trying to ruin Missouri's season. Quite possibly a chance of Missouri making it into a New Year's Six bowl.
Hmm.
Um, But this is a tough game. I think this is a weird matchup. I don't think I will have any action on this game. If anything, maybe leaning Missouri in the points, but yeah, this is a tough one, especially being in Arkansas. If Missouri was home, I would easily take them, no problem whatsoever. But a little bit tougher with it being in Arkansas this year.
Yeah, although not showing it in the win column, Arkansas plays to the level of their opponents. And when you're going up against Missouri and a team like Missouri, who in the past, I think 4 weeks is hitting the over just about every single time.
Mm,
Um, I think I'm gonna hammer the over this game if I put a bet down. It just makes too much sense to me. I've seen what Arkansas can do. They play hard, and Missouri just they're dominant on offense. So
mm.
I really feel like this is a game where the over can hit. I just don't know if I'm gonna put any money on it just because of all the slates and stuff that we're gonna be looking into. But
Totally understandable. Not really the game that I would want to put my money on either. So I get that 100%. What was the other one I was looking at here? Yes. Good game, and I think I know what bet I'm going to be making in this game. Texas Tech at number 7, Texas, Friday night at 7:30. I don't know about you, man, but I am going to take Texas Tech plus 13.5 here. Over unders at 52.5. I'm not really going to mess with the total here, but this is the last chance for Texas to slip and fall, like we always see them do. Now,
mhm.
granted, it could be different this year, and they can still win, but they don't have to cover. I like Texas Tech to be able to cover here. They have been such a weird and disappointing team all season, but this rivalry, I like Tech to be able to come in and at least keep it close with Texas. We've seen the past few weeks that Texas has been keeping it relatively low scoring, hasn't really been putting up massive numbers against opponents like they did kind of relative to the first half of the season. But 13.5, I mean, I could definitely see that score falling within that spread. I really like Texas Tech to be able to cover here. Everybody's talking about what's going to happen with the college football playoff scenarios and stuff. If Texas, you know, wins out and goes to the Big 12 championship and is the Big 12 champion, like, dude, they got to beat Texas Tech first. They got to beat Texas Tech first. I think a lot of people are overlooking it, and I'm going to take Tech plus 13.5 in this game.
Yeah, not only that, they would have to blow out Tech, which they
Mhm.
never do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the main key to this game. I'm right there with you right now. I think Texas Tech's definitely going to cover. They probably won't win. I think it'll be a similar situation to last week with who was it? Iowa State, I think, maybe. I don't
Uh,
remember. I block out my losers, but Texas
yes, Iowa
kept
State.
it
Yeah.
very close. And they didn't cover that 7.5 point, but I guarantee you they're gonna cover this 13.5. So
Wow, it's a
I'm right there
guarantee.
with you with Texas Tech. I think that's the key to this game. I do think Texas is gonna come out with a dub though.
Nice. All right, last game of Friday at 8:30. Big ranked matchup. Number 11, Oregon State goes to number 6, Eugene, Oregon. Oregon favored by minus 13 and a half here. Over under at 62 and a half. The over is tempting as it is in most Oregon games, but as far as a spread standpoint, this one is going to be a little bit tougher for me because Oregon State showed a lot of fight last week at home against Washington in that close loss. The difference is they have not been that great on the road, and that worries me a little bit going to number 6 Oregon. Bo Nix has looked so good this season. That
Mhm.
offense is very high powered. Bucky Irving should be talked about as one of the best running backs in the nation, and he's not. Um, Tough one for me here. I might lean Oregon and the 13 and a half, but more than likely no play. I will consider the over, but want to keep an eye on that number as well.
Yeah, for me, this is a Bo Nix Heisman statement game. Oregon State, we've seen that they can keep the games close, but when you have a team right on the border of the playoffs like Oregon is, it's a no-brainer. You got to take Oregon here, and I'd probably take a touchdown prop for Bo Nix as well. This kid, he has been balling this year. He's kept his name in the Heisman conversation, and he is definitely going to put up the numbers to plead his case because honestly, he's in my top 3. I think he could be top 2, maybe even number 1. It just depends on this game. But this is a big weekend for him, and I see him capitalizing it on a weak Oregon State defense. I definitely think the over is going to hit in this game. So if you were to place one bet, it would be the over for me.
Bet. I love that because that is certainly where I'm going to be leaning in that one. All right, now we're to Saturday. This
Fun
is
slate.
the game. The game. Number Wait, make sure these numbers are right. Yeah, all right. Number 2, Ohio State at number 3, Michigan. Michigan is favored by minus 3.5 right now. That's for plus 100 on Hard Rock Bet. Over under at 46.5. I will likely be leaning to the under in this game. I think it's going to be a massive defensive battle this entire game. I do not see a lot of points being put up. And as far as the spread is concerned, I am probably going to be taking Ohio State to cover the 3.5 here. Michigan, just the past couple weeks, there's just been something about that team that I don't really love, and it seems to me that JJ McCarthy might not be the uber talented quarterback that we think he
Mhm.
is. I think he is a pretty good quarterback, but I think he hides behind a lot of good things that Michigan does well on defense in the run game. Um, they're just so dominant in almost every aspect of the game that they don't really need their quarterback to be a hero. Whereas all season, I've seen Kyle McCord. He hasn't been, obviously, we've talked about it, not the best Ohio State talented quarterback come through that program, but he's been putting up some numbers. He's been able to guide that Ohio State offense, and especially recently, hooking up with Marvin Harrison Jr. and getting that connection going down the field. I mean, I think that could be a deadly combo against Michigan here. So I am likely going to be leading Ohio State plus 3.5 in the under right now of 46.5.
Holmes, this is a hot take for me.
Let's hear it.
I don't want to make a bet on this game.
That's okay, man. That's
Part of
okay.
me is just like, I just want to watch one of the greatest games to ever be played in college football history.
Sure, dude.
I
Yeah,
mean, all this like build up, the trash talk, the storylines, like it's got my head in a clusterfuck. I don't know which way to lean. And when I'm like that, the only answer is to take a step back and just enjoy the game. And,
totally.
I feel like I won't be the only one doing this unless you're a diehard on either side. Like, you're just gonna want to watch a great football game, and there's not going to be a better game this weekend than Michigan Ohio State. So unless something changes, check the Twitter. I may end up doing something, but right now your boy just wants to watch a hell of a football game. That's all he cares about.
Yeah,
So,
no, completely understandable, bro. I mean, this is we anticipate this to be literally the matchup of the year in college football.
mhm,
So totally okay to just kick back and watch it. You are not going to be alone in that. Let's see what else we have on the slate here. Also Saturday at noon, Kentucky goes to number 10 Louisville. Louisville favored by minus 7.5. Um, Even though this is a rivalry matchup, I'm probably gonna take Louisville in the points here. We've
100%.
been on Louisville all year. I don't think we should back away from them now
Nope.
because they proved me wrong last week. I had Miami. I thought Miami was the right side at home against Louisville. Louisville proved me wrong. So that has made me want to jump back on the train. However, I don't really love the 7.5 number. I would most likely try to buy it down to 7. Um, Over under 50.5. I probably won't touch that, but Kentucky has really faltered as of late, not looked very good, especially against some tough SEC opponents. Now, even though Louisville in the ACC competition isn't as strong, Louisville's looked great this year. So I see Louisville rolling, especially being at home. I'll probably take them minus the 7 if I can buy that down.
Yeah, right there with you. I love the spread in this game. Louisville has just been absolutely dominant, curb stomping their opponents game after game after game. Kentucky, we saw it early. They play well against bad teams, not as well against good teams. So for that reason, I'm gonna hammer Louisville's spread in this game, and it's just gonna be one of those games, man. I hate
Get
Kentucky,
it?
so gotta take Louisville.
Like it. Like the rationale there. At 3 o'clock on Saturday, Colorado goes to number 22, Utah. Utah is favored by 22.5 points. Over under at 52.5. You're gonna call me crazy on this one, but that is not enough points for
Nope.
Utah. They should be favored by fucking 35. Colorado has looked awful since their really hot start to the season. Utah has had a couple of frustrating and tough losses in the Pac 12. They are looking to end this season right. And especially at home, they are the best when they play in Bryce Eccles Stadium. So I am going to take number 22 Utah to cover minus 22.5 against this piss poor Colorado team.
I'm going the opposite. Something's
Wow.
telling me
Wow.
Dion's in their heads, guys. This is the rivalry weekend. We've been waiting for it. Cam Rising is just getting back from injury.
Wow.
Like, this is the weekend you go out and you put up a ton of points and just say fuck it. That, like, you're not going to be playing next week. Your season's basically done after this game. Um, just make a statement that you're not fading
Mm.
away. And like you said, like, that's not enough points. I think Colorado can easily hit that. So, for me, I'm leaning Colorado in this game to cover the spread. I know it's kind of a hot take, but there's something in the air. I just feel like that's gonna be the game that's gonna fuck a lot of people over.
Wow, I love the contrarian view. We'll be keeping up on that game, keeping tabs. See who ends up on top here.
Yes, sir.
We'll go through a few more on Saturday. Iron Bowl, number 8, Alabama goes to Auburn. Alabama favored by minus 14.5 here. They keep it short and sweet. We've been riding Alabama. They've looked like a powerhouse. I do not think 14.5 points is enough, especially since Auburn just got their butt kicked by New Mexico State at home last week. So I'm going to take Alabama in this game, even though the Iron Bowl is typically a very heated rivalry matchup, and Auburn always comes to play. Alabama's looked really good. They are vying for their spot in the college football playoff right now. They make a statement win here. They make a statement win against Georgia in the SEC championship, and they could very well find themselves in the top 4. So I'm going to take them to cover minus 14.5.
As an SEC fan, I want Auburn. My bank account, my betting credibility, I'm hammering Alabama. Um, Auburn, I've never been so far off of them than I have been in this past week after what happened in that New Mexico State game. If you are not placing your money on Bama, you are losing money on purpose. It's that fucking simple. Like I said, as a football fan, you always cheer for the underdog, and that's not going to change. But I gotta go Bama. Like my gut, my bank account, my brain, it's all on Bama this week. So
Love it. Love it. Good stuff there. Um, let's see. We'll just cover unranked matchup. Where was it? I just fucking passed by it. Unranked matchup, but at night, I want to see if you maybe have anything on this game. Clemson at South Carolina, because this was a wild one last year with South Carolina getting the win in Clemson. But Clemson goes to South Carolina this year. Clemson favored by -7.5, over under at 51.5. Are you leaning any way in this game? Because I don't have much of a read on it. Again, I've been garbage on Clemson all year. I got lucky on the bet last week because that was the trap line that we tried to identify. But I am not going to touch this, but I wanted to see if you had anything on this one.
my gut's telling me take the under. I don't think either team's gonna ball out. I don't really have a read on the spread in this game. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay.
That's 7.5, such a tough spread to do. Um, and especially with two teams that have been absolutely unpredictable this year. Like, I don't have a good read on it yet.
Game call. Whatever. Okay. This is the game. The last game. We will talk about the college football slate. You know what we're talking about.
Yes.
You already know. Number 4, Florida State goes to Florida. Florida State -6.5. They are favored coming into the swamp, over under at 49.5. As Gator fans, there is only one thing we can do.
Hammer the money line, motherfuckers. We are bringing out the Gators. We are going to curb stop these fuckers at FSU. I cannot wait to ruin their playoff hopes, game bowl eligibility, and rub my nuts in every goddamn Seminoles face. I am so fucking excited. I cannot wait. We are going to fucking destroy them. That's my answer. Florida fucking money line. I know I shit
right there
on
with
Gary
you, bro,
for rationales like that, but guess what? This is the only time I've ever been on this Gary rationale train. Fuck FSU. We're coming to win.
This is the game to do it. This is the game to do it. Fighting for bowl eligibility. Billy Napier is going to have the boys fired up at home. Playing against our most hated rival on the schedule.
We are
Everybody on the Florida team has this game circled on their calendar. If they don't, they're not a real Gator. +200. We are due. Bowl eligibility.
Jordan Travis.
Possibly for Napier's job. We're going to take +200. We're going to ride the Florida money line, baby.
We are riding it to victory.
Let's do it.
I will be cheering harder than I've ever cheered before in my entire life. I am so locked in on this fucking game. I cannot wait.
Dude, it's gonna be so awesome. I'm so looking forward to it. I mean, obviously we knew it was just kind of like a tough game last year. Going to FSU, and as well as they were playing, I was like, this is not going to be that fun because I knew that they were going to beat us. But backup quarterback battle here in the swamp, a lot on the line, a lot on the line.
We are here for it. This is why our motto is we do not back down. This is fucking why. We are against the wall and we are fucking ready to pounce. I'm so excited. So fucking excited. Let's flip it over to NFL. Obviously, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Just a quick message on behalf of Unbettable, myself, Holmes, and Gary. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys for watching. We are very thankful for all of you that watch every single episode. It means the world to us. I know it's a small audience, but goddamn, man, it feels good to see you guys in the comments and the views. So happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and make sure you enjoy some sports this weekend. Anyway, NFL, let's kick it off. Thursday games, we got 3 of them. I was talking to Hodska about it last night. This shit sucks. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. It's Packers, Lions, Commanders, Cowboys, 49ers, Seahawks. Now, my
Yeah.
rationale, Holmes, and I talked about it on Barroom Boys yesterday. I think you have to kick off that noon game with the two worst teams of the day. So I think that should have been a Packers Commanders game. Then the next game you would have would be a Lions Cowboys matchup. And then
Yeah,
you'd
that'd be
have
awesome.
49ers Seahawks at night to wrap it up with an NFC West. Because at
Mm,
that 12:30, all you're doing is you're worried about cooking, meeting the family, all that
yeah.
other bullshit. So you're really not paying attention. And the Lions are such a great game to watch every single year. And it's like they just need to be later on in the slate. And
Hmm.
then, you're in your food coma and you're going to be having to watch the Cowboys dick down the Commanders. And like,
Yeah.
that's boring as shit.
Yeah.
But let's just go through it real quick. Packers at Lions, Detroit favored by 7.5. Over under 47.5. I'm gonna keep it a buck with all of you. Detroit is gonna come out and curb stomp the Packers. 7.5 points is nothing. I'm gonna take them in that spread. I'm also gonna take an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. I think he's gonna have a game this weekend. He's been a little slower compared to what he normally is in terms of touchdowns. So I think he's due. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll probably end up taking the Lions and the points here too. Um, these two teams matched up also in prime time earlier this season, did they not?
I believe so.
I think it was also on a Thursday night. I'm trying to remember this game. Yeah, I think that they did.
Check.
I am going to go back and look at the Lions
I'll
schedule
take a
because
look, but keep your rationale going. Yeah, Thursday
okay,
at Green Bay, Lions won 34-20.
34-20. Okay, I like that. And I think that makes me feel even better about taking the Lions and the points here. I will buy it down to 7. I do not like the 7.5. I'll take the 7 there for the push potential, maybe even buy it down to 6.5, but I really don't want to lay that much juice. The Lions being at home here, winning by 14 at Green Bay last time. I know Jordan Love just had a great game last week. I think he comes back down to earth a little bit here.
Mhm.
On the contrary, Jared Goff just threw 3 picks in a very close win last week against the Bears. I think he knows that he cannot do that again, especially against a Packers team that is obviously better than the Chicago Bears. So
Yeah,
he's going to have a better game. Going to be at home. Thanksgiving wants to absolutely ball out for his boys on Thanksgiving. I'm going to take the Lions to cover here.
love it. Commanders at Cowboys, your 4:30 game on CBS. Dallas favored by 12.5, over under 48.5. Guys, the Cowboys are 4-0 at home. They're dominant on Thanksgiving. Like, if you're not hammering Dallas in this game, I really don't know what you're doing. With that being said, the Cowboys secondary is a little weaker with no Trayvon Diggs. Sam Howell's been a pretty good QB this year, so I could see that over 48.5 definitely hitting in this game. The people want to show on Thanksgiving. I think this is the game to do it in terms of scoring. So that's where I'm sitting.
Yeah, completely fair. I have minus 11.5 here on Hard Rock for the boys. So I'll probably lean toward taking that spread. They have just been far too dominant, I feel like, to
Mhm.
not take them at this point. But one thing that I did want to check, I know Sam Howell's passing prop is at 253.5 right now for minus 110 or minus 115, excuse me. I want to be able to check his past few games because that man is passing the shit out of the ball for the Commanders. And
Mhm.
I kind of like this over. I know it's against a really tough Cowboys defense, but Sam Howell's been throwing on absolutely everybody. I mean, good defenses, bad defenses, they've been airing the hell out of the ball.
Yep.
Um, he just had 255 last week, so that would have been over against the Giants. 3 games before that, 312, 325, 397 against Philly. Holy shit. Um, yeah, I think I kind of like this. I will probably jump on that Sam Howell over 253.5 passing yards prop. Just with as much as they're airing out the ball, I like him to be able to continue to do just that, especially if the Cowboys go up big, like I think that they will. He's going to be playing from behind all afternoon.
All right. Niners Seahawks, your 8:20 NBC game. San Fran favored by 7, over under 44.5. You guys know where I'm going. Give me that McCaffrey touchdown. I'm gonna keep rocking with it just because I love it. As far as the game goes, 7 seems kind of low. I've been saying all year, I think the Seahawks are frauds. I really don't think they're as good as their record shows. Um, and the Niners have all their pieces back. So I'm gonna take Sam Fran spread, and I'm gonna take a McCaffrey touchdown just because I have to. It's kind of my shtick at this point. So
Yeah, I will probably be taking the 49ers on the spread here too. They're -6.5 for me, which makes that number even more enticing. What makes me a little bit wary is that they're going to Seattle. I know Seattle's a really tough place to play. And on
mhm.
Thanksgiving night, they might get freaking rowdy out there. So I'm a little hesitant for that reason. I know they also play again in 2 weeks, but that's in San Fran. So I might want to think about waiting this game out, see what happens here, and then trying to jump on the spread in 2 weeks and what that game looks like. But I mean, I agree with you. I don't really think Seattle is as nice as they were last year, a little bit fraudulent. I could totally see San Fran kind of wiping the floor here and
Mhm.
not really making this a competitive game.
Yeah. No, right there with you. Again, like I know guys, it's divisional matchups and like that's why it's set up the way it is, but like give me your shitter game first. That way I can be in a food coma enjoying an absolute fucking battle. Like that
Yeah,
just
that's real.
drives me crazy. I don't know.
That's real.
Um, First Friday game, Black Friday, baby. We're out
Let's
here.
go.
Dolphins at Jets. I am so excited to be watching this. Dolphins favored by 9.5, over under 40.5. I don't really know why the line is so low for Miami. The Jets aren't good at home. Granted, the Dolphins aren't great on the road, but the Jets are now at their third quarterback of the season. And I don't know. I don't like this line. Over under 40.5. I think it'll be an over. That's just where I'm sitting. The Dolphins got kind of close last week and then stopped scoring in the second half. I don't think that'll be the case when all eyes are on them in this Friday game. So I'm going to hammer the over in this, and that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, this is really cool to have a game on Black Friday.
Mhm.
I'll start it off with that. Um, the spread here at 9.5, I don't really understand either. I feel like the Dolphins should be favored by a little bit more, but I think they don't know what to really do with the number because Zach Wilson's not going to be playing. It's going
Mhm.
to be. Do you even know who the quarterback is this week?
Like Tim Boyle or some shit.
Some chump. Okay, yeah. So as some absolute chump. Um, I think the only play that I will probably have in this game is the under team total for the Jets at 14.5. I like the number being able to sit there because they can score 2 touchdowns and still fly under. Well, not fly under, get under by the hook. But I mean, the Jets, dude, their offense is fucking anemic. It makes no sense. I don't understand it whatsoever. Um, it's just like they can't even with just average quarterback play, they cannot do anything.
Mhm.
It sucks. Zach Wilson has been horrible. But their defense is nice. Their defense is keeping them in games. You know, granted, last week the Bills put up 32 on them. It's probably one of their worst defensive games of the year. But you know, they'll probably play a little bit better defensively at home this week against Miami. But I think I'm gonna rock with that under team total of 14.5 for the Jets.
I like it. On to the Sunday matchups. Panthers at Titans. Guys, the Titans, all their wins have been at home this season. The Panthers are absolutely terrible, 0-5 on the road. Granted, they've only won one game this season in general. This is the Derrick Henry game. This is the one where it's like everyone's been hopping off of him. They have no confidence in him in this offense anymore. This is the game where he proves you wrong. He gets that touchdown. Thielen's going to have a good game. I'm going to take the over on his receptions. I didn't look at the line yet, but whatever it is, I'm hammering the over. Titans are favored by 3.5, over under 36.5. Home, where are you sitting?
It's kind of like you said, Titans are really only good at home. That's why we always bet against them on the road. I definitely think the Titans will win this game. I'm probably just gonna wait for player props to come out because they are
Mhm.
not out yet for this game. I'm going to think about taking Will Levis over 1.5 touchdowns if that's what his line is set at. Passing touchdowns, excuse me. Just zero faith in Carolina right now. They're a dog shit team. They're the rebuild team in the league, but they have no pieces right now. So they are not very competitive. I am probably going to take Tennessee to win here, but want to lay off until some more player props become available.
Love it. Saints at Falcons, just a shitter matchup this weekend.
Yeah.
Falcons favored by 1, over under 42.5. I really have nothing on this game yet. I haven't even really looked into it, so I'm down to skip it if you are as well.
Yeah.
I don't
All
have
I'll
much.
say, yeah,
Guys,
all I'll say is to pick them.
yeah,
Maybe just take the Falcons at home on the money line because they're home. I have no read here though. No read.
yeah, I'm stuck. Steelers, Bengals. Steelers favored by 1.5, over under 35.5. Again, this is kind of a pick 'em, but with Joe Burrow going down, it makes sense to hammer the Steelers and their defense in this game.
Yeah.
I do think that there are going to be a lot of turnovers in this game. So whatever that turnover prop is, whichever one I like, whether it's interceptions, total turnovers, fumbles, whichever one I choose, I'm gonna hammer it. I'm gonna put a couple units on it. But I don't like this game. It would have been a lot better if Joe Burrow was healthy, obviously. But you
Mhm.
know, it's just you got to hammer the Steelers now.
Yeah. I'm right with you on that. I think you have to take the Steelers in this game, but for a couple of reasons. Number one being the firing of Matt Canada. I mean
Mm-hmm.
that like Steelers fans were rejoicing for that when the news broke yesterday.
Yep.
Finally, their offensive coordinator is out, who has really made this offense turn into like poop, dude. So many talented pieces on that offense that really can become special players, and they're just not being utilized correctly. The scheme is just horrible. Kenny Pickett doesn't look nearly as good as he did last year when he came in and started for the Steelers. Um, so I think this is definitely a spot where, again, we talked about it. Coach gets fired. It's not the head coach this time, but it's the offensive coordinator. And I know there are a lot of guys on that team that we're not happy with the offensive play. So I like the Steelers to galvanize around that, have a great offensive day. So I will take the Steelers to win on the money line. I think they're minus 120 right now. And I am going to go back and look at Kenny Pickett's passing yard stats because I know they've been atrocious. Oh, I know they've been bad.
Yes.
Past 5 weeks, 230. Good week at the Rams. 73, 160, 126, and 106. Now that sounds really, really shitty, right? So naturally, I'm going to take the over 198.5 Kenny Pickett passing yards
I
this
love
game. I 100% think he can cash
it.
this because what I didn't say was the first 5 games of the season, 4 out of those 5 games, he had over 200 yards. He has more than enough capability to pass the ball. He has great wide receivers. I just think Matt Canada was literally the problem. And finally, he's out. Things are going to be different with this offense now. I really like Kenny Pickett to ball, prove the haters wrong in this game on the road against a tough division opponent. Give me Kenny Pickett over 198.5.
Love it. Bucks at Colts. Colts 1-4 at home, favored by 2.5, over under 43.5. As our resident Bucks guy, the floor is yours, my friend.
This is a really tough game for me because God, the Bucks have just let me down in so many situations so far this year. But that plus 115 is so damn tempting to take. Um, I think the Bucks definitely need a win to make sure they're staying on pace with the Saints for the division right now. The good thing I think about this matchup is that the Colts defense is so bad. Colts defense
Mm-hmm.
can't stop shit. It's crazy. So I do think there's some potential for Baker to have a nice game here, push the ball downfield a little bit, get his wide receivers more involved because last game they were non-existent. So I like Baker to have a decent game here. I'm very tempted to take Bucks plus 115 on the money line, but this is going to be a close one. I definitely think it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think another game that is going to be interesting, Patriots at Giants. New England's favored by 3.5, over under 34.5. I don't know if you guys watched the Giants last weekend. They look fucking phenomenal. I'm definitely gonna take the Giants plus the points in this game. I just think New England's terrible. They have no direction on what they want to do. And the Giants, they at least have Tommy DeVito, who's got some competence, but I mean, the fact that New England's even favored in this game is mind blowing to me. Mac Jones is just the worst football player I've ever seen in my life. So I just I'm gonna take Giants plus 3.5 here.
Yeah, I kind of want to take the cheese here on the Giants money line for plus 150. Um, Tommy DeVito is not a great quarterback by any means, but he willed his team to a win last week. And against a Commanders team that we all thought on the pod last week was going to come in and wipe the floor with the
Yep.
Giants. So at least they have some life. At least they did something positive last week. I feel like it could definitely carry over that momentum into this week, get a nice win on Sunday. I will definitely think about taking them outright. This could be a big dog spot for the Giants.
Love it. Shockingly, a great matchup. If you told me this is going to be a banger 2 years ago, I would have been surprised. Jags at Texans. Jags favored by 2, over under 48.5. The Jags are 4-0 on the road, and the Texans are 4-1 at home. CJ Stroud's having an MVP caliber season. The Texans defense isn't that great per se. Uh, but I think I'm gonna take the over 48.5 in this game. I really
That's the
like
play.
it. And I just think CJ Stroud is gonna dice up the better defense of the two. And Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, like they're gonna do their thing. They're gonna keep marching down the field. It's just how they play. So I really like the over in this game, but I'm shocked that I really think this is a great matchup.
I know. You're exactly right. A few years ago, we would have been like, bro, this is the shitter of the week. Like, nobody's watching this game.
Yeah.
But I'm totally with you on the over. I got 47.5 here. I think this is a shootout for sure. You can just CJ Stroud's dicing up defenses. Trevor Lawrence had a nice bounce back game last week, finally looked like himself. I think all that momentum carries over. I think it's a combined 50, 60 point game. It'll be pretty big, I think, this week. So I'm
Mhm.
with you on the over there.
Love it. Browns at Broncos. Denver favored by 1.5, over under 36.5. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a read on this game yet. I think the Broncos are back, but that Browns defense is good. I
Mm.
don't really know. Russ low key is having a sneaky good season. Just passing yards are lower, but he's got 19 tutties, 4 interceptions. Like that's pretty fucking good. I'm leaning towards the Broncos, but I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to wait and see on this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as good of a season as Russell Wilson is actually having, and they have certainly turned it around in the past few weeks with some great wins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually leaning the Browns on this one. Plus 100 on the money line. I think that defense has been too damn dominant. Like we said on the last pod, they remind me of the Super Bowl champion Bucks from 20 years ago. Defense just absolutely carrying them through every game. Quarterback play is so subpar, but it doesn't matter because they're still getting wins because everything about that defense is fantastic.
Yeah.
I can totally see a situation here where Myles Garrett is making life hell for Russell Wilson all afternoon. The Denver line has been great. Um, I really like the Browns. I think to get after Russ here, rattle him a little bit. I think this is where the Denver losing streak comes to an end. I am going to take the Browns outright plus 100 at
Hmm.
Denver to get a dub.
All right. We'll see what happens at that one. Rams, Cardinals, two very subpar teams. Arizona is favored by 1 in this game. Over under set at 44.5. Holmes, what are you thinking here, my dude?
Oh no, this is starting to look a little suspect. We haven't had many suspect lines in the NFL this week, and I guess that's a good thing, but this one, I don't know about. We were on the Rams last week when we saw that suspect line of them being favorites against the Seahawks. Here, this kind of looks like a similar situation to me. Now, I know the Cardinals are playing a little bit better with Kyler Murray back. They look nowhere near like the shit ass team that they did in the beginning of the year. Still not great. But the Rams, they're having QB injury problems. Carson Wentz going to play this week? Is Matt Stafford going to play this week? I don't know. Cooper Kupp just went down with injury. I might lean Cardinals money line here, but there's also a part of me that is saying that this matchup is so damn gross that I just shouldn't touch it.
I'm right there with you. If I do touch it, it won't come out until the Sunday tweet. So
Yeah.
I really have no read on this game. Chiefs, Raiders, 425. Kansas City favored by 8.5. Over under 42.5. I'm gonna take the over in this game. I think Kansas City's gonna have a bounce back, kick ass week. And their defense is not that great comparatively to other teams that the Raiders have actually put up points on. The Raiders are 4-1 at home. They play really well in Allegiant. So I'm gonna take the over in this game, and I may take a Devontae Adams anytime touchdown, but I'm not really sure yet. I'm gonna wait to see that on Sunday. So
Yeah, oddly enough, I do not think I'm going to have anything on this game. I was leaning toward the Chiefs to cover because I like this bounce back spot after a tough loss at home against the Eagles on prime time. Um, this really looks like a spot where Patrick Mahomes could come back, have a massive game. Maybe I think about taking a passing yards prop for him. But right now, the 8.5 total, nothing's really speaking to me. So I think I'm going to lay off on that. That'll be a situation for me too Sunday, and we'll see if I have a play on that game.
all right. One of the more confusing lines of the weekend, Bills at Eagles. Eagles only favored by 3.5 in this game. Over under set at 48.5. Let me break it down for you guys. The Eagles are 4-0 at Lincoln Financial this year. The Bills are 1-3 on the road. Uh, I'm gonna hammer this Eagles money or this Eagles spread. I really don't understand why it's only 3.5. That's very weird to me. I don't think the Bills are that good. So I'm gonna take the 3.5 in this game.
I think that's fair. If I'd lean anything toward a side, it might be Eagles money line, but it's so juicy at -175 that I don't really want to
Mhm.
mess too much around with that. I think I'm going to be taking the over of 48.5 in this game. The Eagles secondary can be got. Obviously their rush defense is way better than their pass defense. You've seen that up front. I mean,
Mhm.
I think they'll be able to stuff James Cook all day long, but that's going to force Josh Allen to throw the ball as he's been doing all damn season. I'm sure he'll throw a pick. So if you want to bet on that
Lock it
interception
in.
prop, log it in, lock it in. That's all he's been doing is throwing picks. Um, but the over 48.5 here, I mean, the Bills defense, they've been decimated by injuries. Just said the Eagles secondary, they could be got. I see Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts dueling here a little bit. I can totally see a
Mhm.
55 total scoring game here. I will definitely take the over 48.5 in this game.
All right. Down to Sunday night football. Ravens at Chargers. Ravens favored by 3.5, over under 48.5. Same kind of feeling as the Eagles game. I'm gonna hammer that 3.5. If it comes down to a one touchdown, one score game, we know the Chargers blow it. They always do. Plus, the Ravens are 4-1 on the road, so I'm gonna hammer this. Lamar Jackson's looking like an MVP candidate this year. And that Chargers offense, I don't know what's going on with them. I think they'll be able to put up points this weekend, but that 3.5, man, Baltimore is definitely going to cover that.
Yeah, I probably agree with you on Baltimore there. I might buy it down to 3 just to give myself a little bit better of a potential there. I will also consider placing a bet for Justin Herbert to throw a pick. I think he's actually been really good this season in terms of his touchdown to interception ratio.
Only got five.
Definitely better than what's up?
He's only got 5 INTs this year.
Only 5 on the year. So yeah, he has been really nice. And the majority of them really came earlier this year. One in week 4, one in week 6, 2 in week 7 against Kansas City. The thing is, and the thing I'm going to say about this is he's thrown his picks, it seems like, against the better defenses that he's faced. He threw one against Dallas. He threw 2 against Kansas City. Now, granted, he did not throw any against the Jets, but he also did throw one against Detroit, which has been a little bit better of a defense. Um, I really like the Ravens defense. I'm all about them this year. I think they've been a great, great squad. I don't know if some of the data is contradicting me here, but the over on Justin Herbert interceptions is plus 125. So I really like the value that you'll be able to get on that. I know he hasn't
The
thrown a
juice.
lot, but I think this is a good spot where not necessarily he has to make a bad decision or anything, but a tipped ball, a Hail Mary at the end of the half game, those interceptions count too. So if you have one of those situations falls into a Ravens player's hand, boom, you got that cash all day long.
Love it. Final game of the weekend, that Monday night football game, Bears at Vikings. Minnesota favored by 3.5, over under 43.5. I'm going to keep it a buck with all of you. I have no clue where I am in this game. I really don't. I think I'm going to wait until Sunday afternoon, see where Justin Jefferson injury status is up to, because if there's a chance he plays, I'm going to hammer Minnesota, but I want to wait a little bit longer. I really just don't know where I'm at. So I'll let you, if you have any picks, go for it.
For me, I would probably side with the Vikings on this. If I had a lean, I think this is a good bounce back spot for them in prime time at home against the Bears. But likely, if I were to take anything, I'm really, really liking the rushing yards for Justin Fields at 49.5. He had over 100 yards in his first game back last week on almost 20 carries, I think. He was
Mhm.
running the ball a ton. I think this Bears offense understands that he needs to be active with his legs if they have a shot in these games. And they've rarely had a shot to beat the Lions. And I think it's because Justin Fields not only used his arm when he needed to, but needed to use his legs when he needed to. So I like his over 49.5 here. I think 50. That's a pretty low number for him. I mean, dude could get that in one rush, realistically.
Yeah,
So I'm probably, yeah, actually, I'm not probably going to be doing it. I am going to be hammering
he's
that and putting that
hammering it.
down as an official bet. Yeah, I think that is a little too low. Um, Especially with his what was it, like a dislocated fractured
Mhm.
finger, thumb, whatever the hell happened to his hand. That's why he's been out for so long. I think they know just to continue to give that hand a little bit more time to rest and heal. Why not rush a little bit more? Give yourself opportunity to gain some yards on the ground.
Love it. That's the NFL slate. Do you have any NBA, NHL picks for tonight? I really don't have anything. So,
Yeah, I don't think I do either. I have not really uh taken a look at the slate at all tonight. I know NHL was off last night. I would have had some picks, but nothing that was going on last night. But NBA and NHL are both actually kind of loaded tonight. If I have anything, maybe we'll get something up on the Twitter.
mhm.
Damn, I mean, 93% of the money is on the Carolina Hurricanes to win at home tonight against Edmonton. Edmonton's been looking a little better. Could consider a little Edmonton puck line there, but no, nothing official for me. I don't think this is a night I just haven't done enough research in, so I don't want to give out any shit plays.
Love it. Love your honesty. I'm right there with you. I have not looked into today at all. So, that's
Yeah.
going to do it for today's episode. Again, we will not have a Friday episode, but stay active on our Twitter. We will be sending out picks every single day, and literally every single day from tomorrow morning through Monday night. Just stay on top of the Twitter. You will see our plays. We will be on top of it. So do not worry. We are still active.
Eat
We'll
it.
see you guys on the next episode. That will be recorded Monday, airing Tuesday, as always. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Have a happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Peace.
Peace, y'all.